Alright, what's going on guys? Before we get started today, I'm just going to quickly say, I know a lot of people saw my video the other day about the puzzle and what I was thinking going into it and whatnot. Obviously we got the answer, but I'm actually planning on making a breakdown. I'm working on it right now, all the puzzle steps, how it went down, how we got to the final answer, and yeah. So be sure that's coming your way before too long. But for today, we're going to be looking at the top 5 back-to-back rollover overlapping farms in Galaxy of Heroes. So not to waste any more time, at our number 5 spot we actually have Sith Eternal Emperor into Lord Vader, or vice versa. As you can see, I've got a tab for overlaps and squad overlaps. So for the overlap section, we've got Moff Tarkin and Count Dooku, so obviously both needed at relics for both of these characters. However, I'm putting Jedi Knight Anakin in this category as well, because most people are going to have Jedi Knight Anakin up at relics for Lord Vader, because you're going to need Jedi Knight Anakin for gas, or at least you're going to need his ship for gas, and generally to beat that part of the event, I see a lot of Anakins at least gear 12, got mostly 13, and of course you got the Padme squad going from unlocking gas. You're pretty much going to have Jedi Knight Anakin up at gear 13, it's just a given. So those are my 3 overlaps, 2.5 if you want to count it. And for squad overlaps, this is kind of just whoever fits into the optimal squad, but is also a farming requirement of either. So of course for the Lord Vader kind of ultimate team, you're going to want to have Admiral Piet, Royal Guard, Darth Vader, and probably Maul. So these 3 make it into the squad overlaps. Obviously not important as the actual overlaps when it comes to farming it, but it's still worth to consider nonetheless. Okay, so coming in our number 4 spot, we actually have Jedi Master Luke into Jabba the Hutt. Now, I know what you're thinking. It kind of looks like there's less as opposed to the previous one, but once again, I believe overlaps are more important than squad overlaps, especially with a character like Jabba the Hutt who is self-sufficient. You farm up his team in his own requirements. So of course you got like Bouch Leia, Skiff Lando, Mob Enforcer. You know what I mean? So that's kind of his optimal team, and you kind of farm them up already, so it's not too important. However, for the overlaps, of course you're going to need Jedi Knight Luke for both of these characters. Boba Fett is not an explicit requirement for Jake ML, however, you're going to want to have him because, so for Jedi Master Luke, you're going to want to have Boba Fett to unlock Chewbacca, and even if you don't use him for Chewbacca, you're still going to need him to help unlock the Millennium Falcon, because he is the pilot of Slave One. So generally you're going to have Boba Fett up at a fairly high gear already, so I'm counting that as an overlap similar to Jedi Knight Anakin in the previous one. And of course C-3PO needed for both these characters, Han Solo needed for both these characters, so pretty self-explanatory there. Pretty good overlap, and it's definitely pretty fresh as well, because Jabba the Hutt just came out. Jedi Master Luke is top 2 Galactic Legends in the game. Yeah, so moving on to number 3 for today, we're going to be looking at Jedi Master Luke once again, this time into the Profundity, the recent addition to this video game, the Profundity, Admiral Raddus' ship. Going into the overlaps, I have Greef Karga here as a placeholder, because the Y-Wing, you can't really put ships in here. He shares a node with the Y-Wing, so that's why I'm putting them in there. Obviously Y-Wing needed for both of these. Biggs Darklighter, Wedge Antilles both needed relics for Jedi Master Luke. Unfortunately, not really required for Admiral Raddus, however their ships are, so it's important to have these guys both up and running. So I'm counting them as requirements. And Mon Mothma's needed a relics for both of these characters as well, for both these units rather. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And squad overlaps, I put Han Solo down here because pilot of the Millennium Falcon, right? So you're obviously getting your Han Solo and your Chewbacca up to relics with Jedi Master Luke. And of course we know Han's Millennium Falcon is so necessary for Admiral Raddus' fleet. Once again, the Y-Wing overlap as well. You're going to want to have your Y-Wing when it comes to the Profundity as well, because it's so crucial to the team. So once again, another kind of recent addition to the game, but I feel this spot is warranted at number 3 for the best overlaps. Now I know you might be thinking this maybe doesn't even look as good as the other 2. However, the thing is, when it comes to these fleet farms, right, capital ships need a lot less. If you're farming up Jabba the Hutt, you need 14 odd relic characters. For Profundity, for the Raddus fleet, you're gonna need like 6 relic characters and then like 6 ships. So it's definitely just an easier farm in general. That's kind of what I'm basing this off of as well. Ease of farm, efficiency, power. Okay, so moving on to number 2 spot today, we actually have Sith Eternal Emperor into Admiral Piet's Executor, Now I know a lot of people are actually doing this right now in their games. A lot of people go for C, a lot of people go into Executor, and there is good reason for that. There's good reason for that. So of course we've got 3 overlaps right off the bat. Admiral Piet himself, who is obviously needed at Relic 8 for the pilot, and I think a Relic 5 or something for Sith Eternal Emperor. Here we've got Queel as a placeholder once again. He shares a node with the TIE Bomber, so that's why I kind of put him down. So you need TIE Bomber, of course, for both of these units. And once more, Darth Vader needed once again for Sith Eternal Emperor and Admiral Piet Executor. You don't need it for Admiral Piet, you need it for the Executor. Once again, squad overlaps. Vader's TIE Advanced. You're probably going to use that for Admiral Piet's fleet, maybe as a reinforcement, if anything. Once again, another self-sufficient farm, right? You need all the bounty hunters. The bounty hunters go straight into Admiral Piet's team. Why did you say Admiral Piet? Into Executor's team. So it's one of those ones again. Not a whole lot of overlaps per se, but it's just like, it's an efficient farm because once again, like I said last time, you only need about 6 characters upgraded for Admiral Piet's Executor, and about half of them are needed for his fleet as well, so it's generally a good farm to go into. So coming in our number 1 spot for today, somebody we haven't seen yet on either side of the spectrum, General Skywalker and Jedi Master Kenobi. Now of course, these guys definitely the best farming route to go to. I wouldn't, if I started a new account, those are the characters I'm going for right away. Now, as you can see, General Kenobi needed for Phase 2 of General Skywalker event. Most people get him up to Relic, if not Gear 12. So that has got to be an overlap right there. Mace Windu is another one. You're going to need his Endurance or Negotiator. Either one is a requirement for Jedi Master Kenobi. So both of those are overlaps for the gas event, for the Phase 1, the Battle Above, I believe it's called. Next, obviously, Phase 4 of General Skywalker, you need Magna Guard and the other Separatist droids for that. Maybe you're not going to have them up at Relic, but you might as well if you're going straight for Jedi Master Kenobi. Clone Sergeant's another one for the fleet battle. Maybe you won't have them up at Relic per se, but you'll probably have them geared up in a ship up for that phase of the event. And finally, Shaak Ti needed once again in Phase 2 for General Skywalker, and up at Relic 7 for Jedi Master Kenobi. Now, another character I could have put in here is General Grievous. You don't explicitly need him. However, if you're going through your General Skywalker event, you've already got your B1, your B2 Magna Guard Droideka all geared up. It makes no sense to not go for General Grievous, right? So you've probably already got your General Grievous up at Relics at this point anyways, and once again he's needed at Relic 7 for JMK. So you could count that as another overlap as well. So definitely by far the best for overlap so far. And even squad overlaps. So you've got Jedi Master Kenobi. I know Gas usually goes with a 5 first, but you can chuck Gas into a JMK lineup. And once again, Ahsoka Tano and C-3PO are both needed for Gas. However, you can just chuck them straight into the Jedi Master Kenobi team if you want. Of course, you want to have Cat there ideally, Commander Ahsoka Tano, and maybe, just maybe, you want to chuck in like GMY or whatever. But that's kind of where I'm going with the squad overlaps there. So that is our top 5 back-to-back farms. I'm kind of going to show you the kind of back-to-backs that I did on my roster right now, and the direction that I prefer to be going. So, oh wait, I was already in squads. So as you can see here, I have all these characters. My route was actually, I went Padme to General Skywalker. If I knew Jedi Master Kenobi at the time was coming, I would have gone for him. But I went for Rey, and then so I went from Rey into Jedi Master Kenobi, into Executor, into Jedi Knight Luke, who's going into Jedi Master Luke, and then probably Starkiller. So that is just some kind of inspiration if anybody's out there looking for a good farm guide or whatever, or a farming plan rather. Couldn't fit Starkiller anywhere into the optimal top 5 best farms for today, unfortunately, but that's probably just because he's got 4 requirements, and like if there was anybody that was going to be getting overlap, it would just be like maybe 1 or 2 characters. So as you know, like the profundity needs dash render, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's probably going to be it for today. Thank you guys a ton for watching. Let me know what you think. Once again, the puzzle video should be on the way, and yeah, I should see you guys later. Have a good one, and bye bye.